It's now time for another episode of the Off-Road Toolbox. A Jeepers guide to everything off-road. Powered by Best Price Trailers.
Hey, we want to thank our sponsors, Daytona Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's Randy's place out there. And, of course, his little garage there called Daytona Garage, They do some great work there.
Yes, they do. And good people.
And very good people.
They put up with us and our shenanigans.
Hey, when are we going? We haven't planned the next
I know.
shindig over
but
there.
it's getting close to where we can do the beach drive again without having to pay.
We could have done it just recently after the storms passed us. With
Yeah, but when's it free? They open it up. St. Johns County opens it up so there's no charge.
Right.
That never happens here.
No. But I
Volusia
think
County need that money.
Yeah, I think it's November 1st. I think it's November 1st.
We'll have to check.
And that's a
that.
fun drive because everybody gets stuck there, and it's.
But there was so much red shale.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
It's good stuff. Oh, let's get back to our sponsors.
Oh yes.
Sorry, sponsors.
We're sitting here starting just yapping.
Yes.
All right, and also too, we want to thank Best Price Trailers there at bestpricetrailers.com for supplying our little travel trailer there.
Yes.
Helps us with getting our stuff around. And then, of course, B&B Fastener and Supply over there in Norman Beach at bnbfasteners.com. They supply us with all of our power equipment.
Our tools and stuff, yeah.
Yes.
And they're good stuff.
Yep. And don't be afraid to reach out to them, see if you can't get a deal out of them.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
All right. So, how's things going this week for you?
It's this week. It's just, we're not going to, we already had this.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know, but I
Yep.
mean, besides that.
Oh, okay. It's just going. I'm getting ready to get more work done on my Jeep.
Uh-oh.
Just service work. General,
okay.
preventive maintenance, getting ahead of the curve.
All right.
And actually, on this day will probably be the day that I will have it in the shop.
Are they going to be open?
He is.
Oh.
He's a small shop, yes. Yeah.
Jeff, how's yours?
Doing perfect.
Mine's okay. I need a third brake light. I had somebody pull me off on the side of the road. I was at a stoplight, came up next to me and said, "Hey, your lights are out." I'm thinking,
All your lights are out.
no brake lights. You have no brake lights. So I got home, and it's just the third brake light. So
It's all right.
that's still a problem. Still, I got to figure
Technically, you're
that
supposed
out.
to have it.
Yeah, I want to have
We
it.
did a show on that one.
Yeah.
We did.
We did.
It's the anti-collision avoidance light.
Is that what they
It
call
came,
it?
yeah, it came out of California. A study.
Yeah.
It was actually a pretty good thing it came out of California.
Yeah. Now you can get them that go all the way across
Yes.
and all that. So, yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I like the new. We can get into the gladiator setups
Yes.
and all that later. Let's talk about what's important for this episode.
So, anyways, this is going to drop on Veterans Day. So, we want to reach out and say thank you for all those that are serving us now, have serviced,
Yep.
and are still around with us. They're vets.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a vet,
I'm not. I was a contractor.
but still.
Not
you
the
were-
same.
Not the same.
Actually, I
but-
was embedded with the military, and I had to wear a
Exactly.
military uniform, but I wasn't a military.
Right, but still.
I actually had rank.
And you were a G.
did?
You were a G something.
I was a G13 at one point, and maybe in a couple steps higher on a couple assignments. It was pretty cool.
But still, you had to follow the military way, for the most part.
He's not.
When I was with Big Army, when I was,
He didn't have
when I was
to.
with Big Army,
Look at the smile on his face. He's like, no.
because
That ain't
that was when I was in the special operations. Oh no, it was again everything, uniforms, everything was different. But when I was with Big Army, it was we were a freight train.
Big Army.
We didn't go right, we didn't go left. We just sped up,
Sped up and went
or
faster.
slowed down. That was it.
But still,
you know, great group of people. I have to tell you, phenomenal. We have phenomenal service people.
And even to this day, we still do.
No, I'm not. Yes,
I mean,
yes.
For them, I know for me, I gave up a lot of my younger years to go and serve my country.
Mm-hmm.
And,
You went on a Caribbean cruise.
well, kind of.
Actually, you went on a world cruise. I even how many seas have you been in?
Ratman, Churchy, 4, 5, 6.
So you've been on the,
6 oceans in a ditch.
wow. Oh, the Panama Canal.
No.
Which
How many
one?
tours of
Suez.
duty?
Oh, Suez Canal. I forgot about that one.
How many tours of duty?
That was 4.5 years.
So is that a tour
That's
of
a lot of
duty?
sea
Is
time.
that what is
We
it?
were haze gray and underway and was on that
listen
canoe
to
as
that.
fast as we
A
could.
lot of sea time.
So what is tour of duty? The length of one tour.
Usually a cruise for the Navy is 4 to 6 months.
Okay.
You have a month of workups that you
Yep.
usually go down in the Caribbean and you play war games.
I toured with the dead for a summer. I did. No, I'm kidding. I didn't do that. But that's
But that's you do what they call workups. You
Yep.
do flight ops and make sure everybody's called to land on that carrier no matter what. And We did fire drills and all kinds of fun stuff.
Casualty drills.
Oh God, yes.
Keep the boat from sinking.
I didn't have to do that.
Oh, you'd have to be in
No,
casualty control.
I was up in the air flying.
Oh, that's fine. That's But now the fire drills everybody did.
Yes,
Fire drills
if
and
you were
man
on the-
overboard drills, another big one.
Yeah, he had to muster up and
Yep.
get head counted.
Yes.
And if you weren't there, they'd be paging you overhead,
Yeah.
and you're like, ooh. But anyway, so Veterans Day came about because of what?
The Armistice Day. It dealt from World War I.
Right.
And when World War I ended, I believe it was November 11th at the 11th hour.
And that was in 1918.
I know.
I feel old.
But that
That's
was
over 100 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is it's
Yes.
a holiday that we celebrate, but I don't think we celebrate in the right way.
Some of us do, but some of us don't. Actually, let's put it this way. The minority that understand the sacrifices that everybody made. And in World War I, you're talking, like I brought up in one of the previous shows we did on it, was the Bella Woods incident where you have guys, kids, 15 years old.
Yeah.
Died on his 15th birthday or 16th birthday, saving his buddies.
Right.
So yes, the war to end wars was actually didn't.
But we honor this holiday is for all those that are living,
Everybody. It's so
living and serving, and
Yes.
we remember those that did serve and are no longer with us.
And that came from what Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Dwight said, "Yep, we're going to make this a day for the veterans.
Yes.
We're going to celebrate what they have done for us to give us the ability to be free."
The first legal holiday was I think you said in your 1938.
Right.
Which is interesting because 1938 is when Germany was spinning up for World War II that the world didn't know.
No, and all of a sudden, boom! There we are. Another one.
Yes. And then they made, like I said, 1954, Dwight D. Eisenhower signed legislation making it Veterans Day, which recognizes all those people.
Yes.
And still today, since then, whether you want to go Grenada or Panama,
Right.
the first Gulf War, all the other things, all the other conflicts, Vietnam War, everything we've been in.
Yes. But you brought up something that was pretty cool that kind of rolls into Jeeps, about what the Jeeps are basically veterans also.
Actually, it was a handful of things that changed the tide of the war. And believe it or not, when you brought this up, you're going to bring up how we got this. I'm like, well, I'm going to look at how the Jeep played the role. And it was interesting how Jeep played a role in World War II that carried on for years later.
And for a long time, and like you said, it was not designed as what it was designed for.
It was a courier vehicle, a little courier vehicle.
Oh, here comes the mail.
or
Or the MASH unit, they would take and load casualty from the helicopter and bring them down to the
They were in a
surgical
box,
area.
right? That's all they were.
Oh, they came in a box. They
Yeah.
got shipped in a
It's
box.
shipped in a box,
Yeah.
dropped down, and you got able to put them together.
So they actually we made between 640 and 650,000 of them were
Now-
produced for World War II.
And you can see
Just World War
online,
II.
and you can see online Veterans Day. Sometimes
video
the
where the
parades
guys-
where they're all putting it together during
break
the
it
course.
down.
They break it down. That's what they do. They break it down during the course
and
of
put it back together and drive off in it.
in the parade.
Yes.
So that right there is what the Germans and Japanese, because they made fun of the little Jeep until they got into it and they got into how it was made and all the all the wiring is color coded, so you can't mess it up. It came with a manual and tools to fix it in the field, and
It was KISSed. It was keep it simple, stupid.
and it was interesting because the Germans, mechanics and engineers that looked at it, like, hey, the manual is written for somebody at a 6th grade level.
Now I think about the Jeeps of today.
Yeah, forget it.
I don't even know if I can fix the third brake light.
No. So and the reason,
I need a taser, a mini taser to do this. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason why it was 6th grade is many of the people who lived on farms or the eldest male only went to school to the 6th grade, and then you had to go to work.
You had to go to work.
Whether it was the factory or the farm. And like in my case, my grandfather was that, and he only went to school to the 6th grade because he had to work on the family farm to provide for the family.
Right.
But when he had to work on the farm, he could work on tractors. He could work on
It was
trucks.
very mechanically inclined.
Yes,
because
without formal
you couldn't
education.
go down a mile down the road and get you a mechanic to fix it.
So the American Jeep was built on that. Well, one, it was built so efficiently and manufactured so well. And so it didn't make a difference which manufacturer of Jeep made the Jeep in World War II. All the parts
All
are
would be
interchangeable.
the same.
All of them were interchangeable. It was like the Glock of guns. You know, Glock is interchangeable parts, but the Jeep was. So they could fix it in the field with the manual. I mean, something as we talked about the color coding of the wiring. The front headlights on those first Jeeps flipped backwards. So if you had to work on your Jeep at nighttime, you could work on the Jeep at night. You could use one or both lights to work. You could pull an engine out. You could, again, change axles, change transmissions, change transfer cases. It had a true four-wheel drive with a transfer case with high and low.
Yes, that's all there was to it.
The Germans didn't have that. The Japanese had something, but actually the German trucks and the Germans' the little VW thing they had was, that was two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, air-cooled. You know, it weighed 700 pounds less than the Jeep, but the Jeep outperformed it.
Yeah, but it held its own.
Well,
Those little things out there in the desert, you see them, they scooted right along because they were so light.
Until they got to North Africa, and they had issues in North Africa.
Correct.
And then they had issues with mud, and because
they
weren't.
wouldn't do well, man.
So the first Jeeps that come into play is North Africa, and we give it to our Brit friends, and that's how we did a story on how it started the SAS.
The Rat Patrol.
Yes, and how they put guns and armor and stuff on it, and they. Here's the thing I remark about is they studied a Jeep. The Germans, when they captured Jeeps, they sent everybody. We did the same thing. Every time we captured something, airplanes, tanks, their vehicles, we studied them in the field. We also sent them back to Aberdeen Proving Grounds where they tore them all apart and did all, what worked, what didn't work. And they were amazed at how our trucks, our tanks, our planes, our ships were such built to a standardization that and if it failed, you could repair it in the field and keep going.
And everybody knew how to do it.
And you just pull out the picture graph.
Yeah, you pull it out. There's a picture.
Yep.
This A goes to B, and that's it.
That was just so incredible. And then how this little courier vehicle goes to a comms, recon, carrying a mortar team. They would put, the four guys would get in there with their mortars and their stuff, and sometimes they pulled that little trailer, sometimes they didn't. And they got out, and they did their job. And so the Germans studied it, but then they didn't pass it along like, hey, these Jeep things, they're pretty, they kept them and they painted them and they put their markings on them, but it became the same thing with the trucks. Our trucks are four-wheel drive. But back to specifically the Jeep, from there, it did phenomenally well. So the Japanese thought it was a joke too until there was one because we started in Pacific before we got into Europe.
Right.
And then we did North Africa, Italy, and then main Europe.
Right.
But we were in the Pacific right away and doing the island hopping and everything else. But they're helping the Brits with Burma and everything else. And those guys, there's a legend, and this was amongst what the Japanese hated was there was a group of guys in the Jeeps drove 1,000 miles off-road with no roads. And it was impossible for their trucks. But the Jeep got through because it was light. You could maneuver it. 4 guys, 5 guys could pick it up. 3 guys could pick up the front or pick up the back and move it. Just a phenomenal vehicle, and everything was in it. Your toolkit was in it. Your manual was in it, and they went and they modified it for everything. From, like you said, removing the injured. What the Germans and Japanese both remarked was the guys would even get food delivered in the Jeep.
Yes.
It's at different points, different times.
Well, and they're so capable, there was nothing that really would stop them.
If
it did, you just get out
or they would modify things. They modified some safety hooks to keep the Germans from doing certain things. So then they get to Italy. So the Japanese underestimated it until they saw it, and the beach sand, the volcanic beach sand, which is really
very soft.
Yes. It's interesting to drive in that stuff, and their vehicles had problems. The Jeep, sometimes they had to push it, but the Jeep got through better than any of their vehicles. Up in Italy, because it's all mountain terrain, they're like, Americans can't get here. They got to use, because the Germans was 80% of their logistics was delivered by horses. At one point, they had 3 million horses.
Whoa, 3 million horses.
At one point. just to move logistics around. Then you have to have the vets and you have to have everything else. Their vehicles needed special tools, special mechanics, and you couldn't be. There's no field expedient. They were designed very well, but they weren't designed for war.
It's just like the German Panther.
Yes.
Supposedly it was interchangeable, but 9 times out of 10 they couldn't get it to interchange or take this part off over here.
Because they didn't have a special tool. You had to have special tools for us. And some of the things were simple as a simple screwdriver, either slotted or Phillips. You know, a small set of wrenches, adjustable wrench, pliers. Everything was designed to be fixed in the field. So when you get to Italy, okay, they get up in the mountains like, hey, they're going to have to use pack animals. Next thing you know, here comes the please Jeep. Don't tell the Americans and Brits, here, you're not going to be able to do this. They took the Jeeps. Not only took the Jeeps, they towed the artillery behind it. It wasn't the big ones, but they towed the artillery up, got up above them, and started shelling them.
Yeah.
They're like
high ground winds,
and they could get up there so fast. And then if they got in problems, the other team would help them.
Right.
So they just kept bounding over with the use of the Jeep. Again, somebody needed to take notes. Like, hey, these vehicles are very, very capable. The other thing was our ability to supply our troops. Yes. Both the Japanese and the Germans did not have that capability.
No, and they had a lot of issues with death while they were out in the field.
Yes.
Whereas there was no food.
Yes.
And they would come and try
to... Or if you got wounded, no way back.
No way back, exactly. Because you didn't have helicopters for the most part at the beginning.
No, that didn't come into the end of the war, and then it got into the Vietnam War. It was interesting, because I was doing a study, and I actually found out what the Germans and Japanese thought of the Jeep, and how they wrote back and like, holy mackerel, the Jeep could their Volkswagen little thing had 27 horsepower, where the Jeep had 60. But the big difference was when they took it to the proving grounds, a 12-degree incline, it had a hard time climbing the hill if it was a long hill. Because
the clutch would overheat.
And the engine would overheat because it was air cooled, and it depends if it was hot weather. Where the Jeep was up to 27 degrees, that's where it was like their stall point,
right? If
you want to do it. Where again, speed, the Jeep, their thing had 27 horsepower, 25 horsepower. Like I said, we had 60. Theirs was rear-wheel drive, air cooled, where ours was not. But our payload, we could pull more with it. We could do more with it. We could attach things to it. We made gunships out of it.
Yes, we did.
Which floored, again, they didn't pay attention when they did it. Like I said, they made it for recon, for comms, forward observers, mortar teams, gun ammos. They did all kinds. And if they got 3 or 4 of them together with the guys, they could wreak havoc. They could move so fast. They were moving faster logistically and get out in front of things, which was just unbelievable what they did. Mud swamps. So D-Day. D-Day was interesting because after we got the beachhead established, the next thing we did was hundreds of Jeeps and tanks and the other things came ashore. Again, the Germans believed the hedgerows, because if you keep them to a road, we can ambush the roads, we can mine the roads, we can slow them down. Right? So, okay, America, you guys were great. The World War II guys, we know they're great because they're like, oh, you want to do that to us? Hedgerows? Hold our beer. They drove through the hedgerows. So the tankers made, right there on the beach, got some stuff out, boom. They made like an attachment to plow to go through the hedgerows, or the Jeeps. Okay, they sent it. So a lot of times we talk about traction versus momentum. They just said, we're going to use momentum.
Momentum wins.
And they went through the hedgerows, and then they went around everything the Germans had set up to slow them down. The guys in the Jeeps just went around it, and were so amazed because nobody paid attention. They based it upon their skill set and their vehicles, and they've been for 2 years, 3 years been dealing with Jeeps. Somebody pay attention. I mean,
they didn't. And guess what? They lost.
Yes. I mean, it's just the versatility of it. Go ahead.
And then years later, Radar O'Reilly was sending Jeeps back to Autumna, Iowa. Remember that on MASH?
Yep.
I mean, it was glad you said that because after World War II ended, and if you don't know, we bombed the heck out of Germany and Japan. So Japan was bombed so bad that everything was obliterated. Yeah. So the Americans in the rebuilding of Japan licensed Mitsubishi to make the Jeep. And then Nissan made their version of it, which was called the Patrol. And then the Toyota was able to develop theirs, was called the BJ. And they're very much knockoffs of the Jeep, and that's what helped rebuild their countries. And also after World War II, the Brits said, well, we got to do better, but they didn't. The Land Rover's cool. I'm just going to tell you. All right,
Yes.
but it's not a Jeep.
No, it's not, but it is capable.
It's very capable.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's very, very capable. So again, from World War II all the way through. So World War II, it was a vehicle that exceeded everybody's ability. The American ingenuity of, hey, how can we modify it? And they modified it from day one.
But to this day, nobody can really match what the Jeep can do.
No.
I mean,
come close, but
they
not-
come close, but no.
not-
I mean, the solid axles.
Yes.
they're trying to do they do the independent suspension,
Yes.
right?
Right.
It just doesn't, and the love of the brand.
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
No one can come close. I mean, the Broncos are starting to,
Yeah.
you start seeing more of those.
and Toyota Land Cruiser and the FJ Cruisers.
Well, they stopped making the FJ.
Yes, I know. But they were very capable vehicles. Not as good. I mean, my dad had an FJ Cruiser in 68 or 70.
They looked like a Jeep.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Big
Yes.
Jeep.
But they're just very capable vehicles that are. But you can still buy World War II era Jeeps. People have restored them, and they're all over the place. So
and there's actually aftermarket parts to
Yes.
fix what's broke.
yes,
So I think they'll be around for another 100 years, to be honest.
it's just as long as the frame is good.
Yeah. Well, even now you can get frames.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's true.
So
It's just really kind of cool. So
the new technology going into the old Jeeps is pretty cool.
it is. And then how that for Veterans Day, when you think of Veterans Day, man, you think of, hey, here's a couple things that helped change the tide of that war, and the little Jeep was one of the key things.
Big thing.
Yeah, it
For
really
a little
was.
thing, it was a big deal.
It was
Huge
it
thing.
made it made a
Really
huge
was.
significant difference.
All right.
All right, man. I want to thank all you vets out there. I want
Yes.
to thank everybody
Thank
that's
you,
still
guys.
serving. You guys be safe out there. Don't let them get you down. We're here. We love you.
Yep.
And we'll talk to you next time.
And there you have it. Don't you feel smarter now? We'll drop more knowledge on you soon. Thanks for listening to the Off-Road Toolbox, powered by Best Price Trailers.